My name is Isabella Narslander, and today I'll be discussing with you cultural competence, specifically in the setting of education. So right off the bat, I want to talk about my personal definition of a culturally competent educator. In my opinion, a culturally competent educator is someone who's taken the time to understand their students' individual experiences, cultures, values, and who've also taken the time to understand their students' socioeconomic status, their geographic location, as well as the general demographics of their classroom. I think it's so important to have an understanding of experience. That way you can tailor all of your curriculum to fit the needs of those individual students. I really want to create a classroom that honors others' experience and challenges those within it to be open to others' way of life. I think the most important part about being a culturally competent educator is teaching students that they need to live a life far beyond simple tolerance. I think our job as professional, culturally competent educators is teaching students to see others in a place of honor and helping them to understand that this doesn't mean they have to compromise their own personal values. When I was considering my placement on the competency continuum chart, I think that I fall at the beginning of the culturally competent category. I've always made it a point to live a life where I'm mindful of inclusivity and actively seeking to be mindful and understanding the value of diversity. I work hard to regularly evaluate my personal biases and what effects they will have on those around me, as well as my future classroom. I plan to be the kind of educator who defends my students' right to equality in all capacities and works hard to serve all their needs, even the ones that relate more to their culture and less to our classroom. I think one of the ways I made this decision was evaluating my personal opinions on some more controversially based issues that play a role in K-12 education. I was particularly thinking about ethnic and racial disparities in education, which is something that I've taken the time to be fairly well educated about. I'm actively and regularly seeking new research on ethnic and racial disparities, particularly regarding socioeconomic status and healthcare. I'm always looking to see how I can differentiate to make sure the assignments that I'm developing in my classes are able to fit the needs of every kind of student that I can encounter, including those that fall far below some of the other students' socioeconomic status. I think in terms of deepening my cultural competence, I want to take this mindfulness and my active thoughts and turn them into a lifestyle where they flow effortlessly and look as if they come naturally. I think one of the ways to truly do this is to put myself in positions where I have to practice these skills. I think that that's just such an important thing as a professional educator, and the classroom is one of the best ways to do this. In terms of some of my specific research tools and trainings that I use lots of different things. I honestly really enjoy some basic ones. I love YouTube. I think things like Google Scholar are great for researching and finding your research and data on different topics, and you can search it in like a Google question, which is really helpful, so you don't have to use specific terminology. I recently joined AATM, which is Arizona's Association of Teachers of Mathematics, which provides culturally competent trainings and professional development specifically regarding mathematics classrooms. But there's tons of tools out there. You just have to take some time and kind of look around, but there are really great ones. In terms of what I believe cultural inclusivity will look like in my future classroom, I think that in my own personal experience, it looks like healthy relationships between me, my students, and their families. I think that having a relationship with both students and families allows you to kind of understand their experience better and just create a culture that's motivated by honoring and respecting one another. I think that's so important. I really want to have the kind of classroom where no matter who you are or where you come from, you walk into my classroom and you feel comfortable and you feel loved. I also really would like to take the time as a whole class to explore the different cultures of each of my students and celebrate who they are and who they'll become. In terms of how I will work with students who maybe have different values or spiritual beliefs than I do, I really took some time to talk with some professionals in the field of education and some peers, and they pretty much all said the same thing. They said to just treat these students with love. The best way to connect and to value students is to treat them with love and interact with them just as a person and honor who they are and what their needs are. And I think that as a Christian, this perfectly aligns to my own values. I need to live a life where I love others well and treat them as Christ would. Thank you so much for watching.